So today we are going to be working on our platformer game again. Yesterday we worked on this game, but we worked on the animation. So I think we wrote some code so that it made sure that when we tell the player to run in a certain direction, it then goes ahead and plays the running animation. And then I think we also worked on allowing the player to jump, but I don't know if we did the jumping animation because I think it's not actually an animation. I think it is just like a swap in the sprite for the player. So we'll carry on doing that when we actually need to jump in the game. So we'll forget about that animation for now, but today we're going to be working on setting up a simple tile map for our game so that we can start building a simple level so we can see something of the game like coming along. So let's jump into it and start that. So I have been doing some research and I figured out there's a way to do this. Well, I don't know if it's the best way to do it, but it kind of makes sense. And that is to create rules for the tile. So instead of you or myself or you as a developer having to select the tile that you want to use every time, we can go ahead and assign rules to the tiles, all of our tiles itself, so that when we go and assign them to the position, it not randomly assigns them, but it assigns the correct tile to that position. So for example, if we are creating I don't know if I can't remember if I can write on the screen. I think I may have deleted that, but if, say, for example, this white line here, this was our ground, we would want let's see, do we have our sprites here? Tile set over here. So let's look at this. So if we were making this white line over here into this ground, we would want these four, I think there's 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 sprites here, so they're probably going to be roughly that size, each of them, something like that. So what we want to do is we want to assign this one over here a rule saying that if it's on the far right, it needs to assign this tile to the far left tile that we've used, and if it's in the middle, then go ahead and put this tile just so that there isn't this border to the outside right of it. And the same thing for the outside left tile, we're gonna go and add a rule into it so that it always assigns this one here. And then the same thing goes for if we have a random tile that's like just completely underneath the ground, so as in dirt, we want to put this black tile, so this over here would automatically fill up if this was our level. And then the same thing for everything else. We can add multiple rules, so we can add some stairs as well, and then like some spikes if we want to add some kind of obstacle for the player to jump over. But yeah, that's what we're going to attempt to do in today's episode. I've never done this before, so I don't really know how well it's going to work. We could take us a few episodes to figure out, but let's go ahead and set up our sprite tile map. So let's go and create a new tile map. So we're going to create a rectangular one. But before we do that, let's go and get rid of this square here because we don't really need that anymore. Once we've got our tile map sorted, we should be able to stand on top of our tiles, and then we won't really need that white rectangle. So let's go and see. In our game, that's gone. Okay, so now in our tile map, let's go and create, or on our grid, let's go and open up our tile map. So where's our tile map? Okay, so here it is. So here's our tile palette. You can see that all our tiles are in here. So on our tile map, we can assign these tiles. Why is it so blurry? I did this before and it wasn't that blurry. But anyway, let's go on our tile set 1. We need to go and change some values here. So if you click on the tile set that you want to use, you can either use the first one, the second one, or the third, fourth, or fifth. Let's see, which one do we want to use? We should probably start with, let's start with the first one, just so, because it makes sense. So this is the one we're going to start with. We'll create a simple level with this tile set, and then we'll probably create another level for the tile set 2, another level for 3, and so on until we get to the last one. Now, so here are the individual ones. I don't really know if we're going to use those, but we're going to use our tile map just so that it works properly. So let's open up our first one. Okay, so on our inspector here, we need to change a few things. So we want to change our pixels per unit to, I believe it's 256 pixels per unit. Then we also need to change the filter mode to point. And I believe that's it. So let's go and apply that and see if that works. So now, if we go back to our scene view and click on our grid, you can see we now have a grid here. But now we can go and select a tile from our tile palette. So on our grid, open tile palette, here it is. I don't understand why this is so blurry. You can see now that they fit into these boxes. Maybe we need to change our max size. So let's see, 256. Let's apply that and see if that works. Okay, so it's less blurry. What's the size of it? Its size is 256. Let's increase that to about 2048. Maybe that will give us more detail in our tile palette. So let's open that up and see. Where did it go? On our grid, tile palette. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Maybe we need to double that. So it is a lot better. So let's go and say max size to about 4000. Apply that, and then that should give us the required detail we need. Well, we don't really need it, but it looks much better. So here's our tile palette. Now you can see that they fit into those boxes that we... Do they? Okay, yeah, so there you go. You can see that they fit into those boxes nicely. So now, instead of having this, you see, this is where I'm talking about the rules. So if we had to draw this as a temporary level for our game, these here would be wrong, and so would this one. So these would automatically fix themselves and assign the correct tile to it. So that is the aim of today's episode. So we're going to do that. So first of all, let's go and get rid of these. Now, where's our tile palette? So I'm just going to put this over here, just so that we don't keep losing it. So let's go and get rid of these ones because we don't need those. Now, in our assets folder, let's go and create a new folder. And this is going to be tile rules. And then we're going to go to create 2D, and then we're going to access... Okay, so if you don't have this, you probably won't have... If you've never done this, you probably won't have this option in your inspector. But if you don't, what you want to do is you want to go up to your window option and then go down to package manager, and then you are going to have to go and change a few things. So first of all, click on these three dots and then select project settings, and then go and tick the enable pre-release packages, and then that should be fine. Then you can close that, and then you need to change your packages to be set to Unity registry. And then once you've done that, you should have the option of 2D tile map extras, and that should give you access to the package that we are going to use today. So just for working purposes, I'm going to drag these into here. We could probably close that tab because we're not going to be working on that today. So here's our scene, and today we are going to attempt to do this. Otherwise, if it doesn't work for today, we will just set up a quick level. So let's go and create a new 2D tile rule. And then this is going to be called grass rule, because this tile does have grass on it. So we're going to be working with these ones. So let's open up this. Where is it? Grass rule. So let's push this down. Okay, so we're going to need a default sprite. So what do we want our default sprite to be? Let's go and say, actually, we don't want a default sprite because we're not going to use our sprites as backgrounds. I think we've actually got images to use as backgrounds in our background folder. So yeah, that's fine. So we'll leave that for now. So let's go back to that, wherever that was. Assets, tile rule. Okay, so let's bring this down. Now, we are going to have to drag in our tile. So let's go and say... we want to give... we need to find our individual tiles. So let's go and see. Sprites, tile sets 1, Can we drag these in? Okay, first of all, we need to lock that inspector, otherwise we're going to have a big problem here. So tile rule, open this up, and then I'm going to lock that, and then let's go and create a new tab, another inspector, just on the side here. Okay, so let's see. Assets, tiles, sprites. No, that's scripts. Sprite, no, that's scenes. 2D platform, sprites, tile set, and then let's see. This one. Okay, so this is our first tile set. So we want the default one, which is going to be this one or this one. So we, I mean, we'll probably, what we do to one of them, we'll probably have to do to the other one, just so that it's random. But we could probably just work with the one only, because, I mean, they're not that different. So let's see. If we use that one and then let's use this one, you see there isn't that much difference to it. They both fit together seamlessly, so that's what we want. Okay, so now let's go and drag one of these in. So if we drag this into here, you can see now that we can add some rules to this one. So by selecting all of these, we can, first of all, let's try something quick. So in our tile rules, we need to drag this into here. No, that doesn't work. Assets. Okay, so first of all, let's see. What we want for this rule is this tile, we don't want to have anything on top of it because the grass is meant to be for walking on. So let's go and delete, where's our eraser? Here's our eraser. Let's go and delete all of those. So we want to be able to not have anything on top, so we'll put a red tick or red cross there. We don't want to, actually we can have something on either side of it, and we can have something on the bottom of it, so that's fine. Now, let's see. Let's go and add another sprite. So let's go and add, let's start with the side one. So let's go to this one. We'll drag that one in there. So now this one, we don't want anything on the left-hand side. We can have something at the bottom of each side, and we can have something on the right of it. So that's fine. Let's go and add another one. I'm just going to add, how many do I want to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do 5 for now. So let's add 5 in. And then we need to change this one to the right-hand side endpoint. So we just need to swap these two. So that's going to be a red cross, and that's going to be green. And then for this one is going to be this one. We'll drag in the second one. Yeah, so those two are different. These two will have the same rules. So let's go and put a green tick there, or green arrow, and a red cross there. Okay, so we could have something on the side, but by leaving it blank, I believe you can still put stuff there. So we'll leave it like that for now until we figure out that we can't, and then we can change it. So the next one is going to be a blank one. So let's try this one. We'll drag this one in here, and this one is going to have anything in all directions, I believe, because we are going to want to have, say for example, we have this one over here. We still want to be able to put one on each side and some on the bottom, and so on. So something like that. Okay, so that's fine. Now let's do a few more, because we can set this up, and then probably in the next episode we can go ahead and start laying out a temporary level for us. Well, it doesn't have to be temporary, it could be permanent, but let's go and try and do this. So let's see, what other tile sets do we have here? Let's drag this up and see. So we've done these ones. What else do we want to do? We want to do this one. So let's add another one. Let's drag that down. Okay, so let's add another one. Which one do we want to do next? Let's add this one. So this one here is going to only be on there, and then nothing on the top like that. And then we don't want anything on the side, but we could have something on the side but one below it. So if, say, for example, this sprite over here was this one, we could have something over here. So what else do we want to do? I think that's fine. We can have something to the left of it, because that means we probably just have one of these blocks. So let's do we have one on the opposite side? Yeah, we do. So let's add another one. I'm just going to increase this to about 10. That's fine. So now let's see that we'll leave that one there. Okay, so the next one is going to be this one. We'll drag this one. This one's just going to be the opposite of that one. So we'll put that as red, and then leave that blank, and then this one allows another block to be on the left of it. So we'll get rid of that, and then also everything on the 3 below it. So let's go and add in, what do we want? We want to add in some spikes. Let's try a spike. So the spike is going to be over here. Now the spike is not going to have anything on the top. It is going to have, will allow anything on each side of it, as well as the 3 below it, so that's fine. And then let's do 2 more. So what do we want now? We want to have, let's have these 2 stairs. So we'll drag that one in there, and then drag that one in there. So this one is going to have something on the right hand side, nothing to the left, nothing on top of it, and that should be fine. And then this one is just going to be the opposite. It's going to be nothing to the right, nothing to the top, 3 spots. Okay, that's fine. Now the question is, how do we go and use these now? So I don't think, if we go to our assets, tile rules, grass rule, let's see, we can't really unlock that and see where we are. Grid, tile map. How do we access our tile map? It should be over here. Oh no, it's hiding down below. So here's our tile palette. Now I believe we have to drag them into here somehow. So let's have a look and see. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the objective of this is to allow, what am I doing? Is to allow us to build levels quite quickly without having to select each tile individually like I would do now. So for now, let's go and do this, and then in tomorrow's episode we'll go and do what we did earlier with setting up the rules, these rules here on the side. But for now, let's just give it a quick temporary level to kind of simulate what we want to happen in the game. So I'm going to choose these here and put these over here, and then I'm also going to get rid of this one, so let's erase that one. So let's also erase these 3, and then we can have something like this over here, and then you'll have to jump up there, and then we can have these like that, and then probably something like that maybe. So this is going to be a example of what we could have as a temporary starting level. So just something very basic to start us off with. So I'm going to, let's just test this out and see if we have a collider on these. I hope we do. No, we don't. Okay, so that's not a big issue yet, because we are going to not use this the way we've just done it now. We're going to use the rules so that we don't have to go through all of this building random blocks or random tiles individually. So that's what the example level is going to look like. Let's just bring in some kind of background. Okay, forest, no. Okay, so it doesn't really matter, but eventually we would have something like this, and then background like that with probably a solid black background, something like that maybe. So that is a temporary level or temporary solution to one of our levels. I mean, it kind of looks terrible, but that is what we're going to be working on in tomorrow's episode. So if you haven't really done this before, please stick around and subscribe to the channel so I can show you how to do it tomorrow. Hopefully I can figure it out. But yeah, that's tomorrow's episode. So if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and hit this button over here to subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.